really big, massive part of my life, and we kind of went through all of that together. And she was really great with advice and encouragement. She'd obviously acted a lot more than me, and she's such a lovely woman. She's much like Jackie, really. She's just warm and generous in her spirit, and she's totally gorgeous. She's also got a sick sense of humour, and we used to smoke a lot together. I keep bringing it back to the smokes. And we just became firm friends and allies, and Noel, I didn't see Noel a great deal, and he kind of came and went, but we had a laugh as well.
Because that was quite difficult for him, I think, because he was doing Alfreda's Own Pet at the same time, and he was sort of flitting between.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
I
think it was hard for him as well because he was coming in and out. Everyone had formed, really strong bonds, and he was endlessly having to kind of
play catch up.
Right, find his place in that dynamic. But he's great.
So, as the series went on, that first series, at what point did it seem to dawn on you that this had been a success? Because it could have been a complete failure. They could have,
enormous. It could have been. I think we were all thinking this is either going to be huge or an absolute catastrophe, because it was, uncharted territory for most of us, actually. And also because you're relaunching like a classic. Do you know what I mean? It's terrifying, and more often than not, I don't think it works. So, it was definitely a gamble, and one that enormously paid off. But I remember when we did the launch of it in Wales, and we took over this hotel, and our pictures were kind of projected on this enormous, building, and people come up from London, and it just felt really big. And I had a little cry in my hotel room and called my friend in America, actually, and just went, this feels like it's going to be really monumental.
Was there therefore a point where you were thinking, what have I let myself in for? Can I get out of this? Oh my God. Or were you...
No, I was loving it. No, I loved it. I was loving it. It was only after that I realised that when you're part of something like Doctor Who, it's quite overwhelming, because it becomes the topic of every conversation you ever have. And as lovely and as brilliant as that is, that can be quite trying as a human being, because sometimes you just want to talk about anything but yourself and, what you're doing every day at work. No one really wants to talk about their work, do you know what I mean? But it's really hard to avoid, and I think that for myself, certainly, and I know for some of the other actors, it's that when you realise the following and the kind of obsession with it, that is quite overwhelming. Yeah.
And the press must never let you alone all the time.
No, because they want to know that you're being badly behaved and that you're in a family show, and they want to make an example of you, It's just the British press, they're just savage like that. But I think we all got away pretty lightly, considering what we were doing. Jokes.
Yes,
yes,
jokes.
We're squeaky clean.
Yes, squeaky clean. Absolutely. So you've done the first year of Doctor Who. I'm sort of brushing over all this, but you do the first year of Doctor Who, and then Chris is gone.
Yeah.
And then this tall Scottish guy turns up.
Yeah.
And suddenly, did the roles reverse? It's like you were saying, you met Christopher Eccleston when you were auditioning. Were you sort of there for David at his, not necessarily auditions, but the whole meeting process?
Yeah,
of him? Were you suddenly the person in the room waiting for someone to come in?
Yeah, we met him. I mean, we never had to go through that horrible thing of going, oh, let's read together in front of people and hope that we get, that the chemistry is there. It just kind of was, I think. We met and had some really secretive dinner at Julie Gardner's house in West Hampstead, and had some wine and a bit of food, and that was it. We were like sold on each other.
You're very close friends with them.
Really close,
really well.
Yeah. And Matt, they're like two of my best friends.
How difficult is it when you've got a good bond and you've got a good friendship with someone that actually seeing them every day, there must be points as an actor when you do occasionally just want to punch your co-star and say,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. I didn't ever feel that about David, I have to be totally honest. He's not that irritating. He's not irritating, he's not a demanding actor, he's not, you know, me. He's very, very straight down the line. He's very unactory, which is amazing because he's one of our country's finest actors. But he does everything with such humility and grace, and has a really good sense of humour about things. And you know, he's really serious about the work, but not in a really pretentious, annoying actory way, like endlessly having to discuss, you know, what it means and, you know, how it affects them, and, you know, stuff that I don't really have time for. Other people love it, I can't deal with it.
What was it like for you every time a script comes through the door? Were
Oh,
you
yeah.
anxious to read it, or did you kind of go, I'll do that one tomorrow?
No, it was instantly like, you know, flicking through, just like salivating and like trying to jump ahead to your parts, and it was compulsive reading. Yeah.
Now,
I haven't actually felt like that with scripts. My current job, I feel exactly the same about as I did with Doctor Who. It's like you just want to literally eat the script. Do you know what I mean? You want to swallow it down and really enjoy it. Because it's just, you know, you just want to know.
well, that's good writing, isn't it?
It's a total testament to the writing. Absolutely. You just want to know what's going to happen. You know how kind of, it's that thing when you get a box set, it's that kind of thing, you know, 9 hours later, you know, with your eyes like this, you're still going for another one. It's that kind of insatiable, you know, appetite.
So it must be quite difficult to make a decision to give that up, to suddenly go, oh, I've done 2 years of this. Or, I mean, I don't think I'm breaking any confidence of saying originally it was actually halfway through series 2 you were going to go, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, when I heard Chris was going to go, I thought, well, I'll go, because I don't want to do this with anyone else. And I somehow, because I felt like a real strong kind of loyalty to him as well, and I felt like if I carried on, everything that we'd shared together would mean nothing suddenly. Bit over-emotional. Also, we weren't in a relationship, so I don't know what I was thinking. But then I met David, and I just thought,
Why would you want to leave there?
I know, so awful, so cold of me. But I just thought, well, you're amazing, and then I was going to stay on for just half of series 2, and then it was just, you know, I just had to stay to the end.
And you had a pretty fantastic send-off.
I know.
That last episode.
I know.
Is there anyone that wasn't weeping?
I still get really like, if I see that on the telly, if I'm like flicking through or something, and I see that, I still get so upset about that, and because it was genuinely upsetting to film, and they scheduled it perfectly. Do you know what I mean? So it was literally like 2 days before the end of the shoot, and we were on a beach, and it was wild, and we were all really feeling quite cut up about it.
But ironic, I mean, because it wasn't the last episode you shot, was it?
No.
You did Doomsday, and then you did Satan Pit and Love and Monsters after that, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I did.
Oh, this is going to make...
No, hang on a minute, because I wonder if did we shoot some alternatives? I can't remember.
You might have done. I know that when I came up and joined Cardiff, you were shooting scenes from Satan Pit, because that was the first time I met you, and you were doing Satan Pit, and that was it for you. It was the end of your run. So maybe you were doing some pickups then.
Quite possibly, yeah.
But I've always thought that. All right.
I think you're wrong.
I probably am. I'm very old and
No, you might be right. Maybe I've imagined it differently.
No,
quite
I
possibly.
think your memory is more likely to be accurate than mine, to be honest.
Well, either way, it was sad.
It was sad. Very, very sad.
Very sad. Let's get back to that.
So you left the show, and you go off and you do Ruby and the Smoke and Diary of a Call Girl, and then at some, which people love, quite right too. And then at some point, you think you're trapped in some parallel universe somewhere, and you're never going to see the Doctor again. And then the phone rings.
Yeah.
Oh, can you come back?
I know.
How did you feel about it? Did you think yes, or did you think, I've done that, that story's done?
No, every time I got the call, I just said yes. Because it's so lovely going back, you know, and they're your friends. It's a selfish thing, really, just to go back and hang out with them all and get to feel that again. You know, at the risk of really overdoing it and becoming really boring, you know, or, you know, I don't know. But I did say yes, I'll always say yes.
But the nice thing also is, I think, and I'm saying this as a fan, obviously, it meant that Rose got to come back and meet everyone else. So, you know, that feeling that the Doctor had gone and then you're working with Freema and you're working with Catherine and you're working with Liz Sladen and John Barrowman and everything, and you're all grouped there together.
Yeah.
Was that quite fun to come back and be part of an ensemble rather than just the two of you?
Yeah. And then sometimes you kind of want everyone to go and it just be you and him. You know? You're like, yeah, but leave.
My TARDIS, get out.
I know. Sometimes. But, oh, that sounds rude, but it's true.
And then you came back I was going to say one last time. You came back again for David's farewell. That lovely little scene set before Rose had ever taken place. Did you do that down in London at the original location?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that quite weird to go back?
Well, that was really weird because I was filming Secret Diary at the same time. So Secret Diary in the day, Doctor Who at night. It was very weird. Totally different thing altogether. Yeah, it was good. It was good to go and be on the estate, and they're also emotional, those scenes, aren't they? They just they feel so kind of important, and they do to me anyway. Because it's about friendship and love and fear and mortality. And I don't know. I always find those things really emotional.
I always got the feeling that Russell sat down with a list of really harsh emotions and ticked them off and said, right, we've put her through anguish, we've put her through pain, what can we put her through this week?
Yeah. Yeah, possibly.
Let's test Billie and see whether she can cry on this.
Whether I can actually do that, yeah. But my God, isn't he amazing?
He's the most fantastic.
Yeah, because he's as much as he's writing about, an alien of sorts, he's writing about human nature in a really, acute kind of, it's an acute kind of study of what we mean to each other. And I think that's why the show was a success again. Totally, just solely down to him, because he made it about two people in this world clinging on to each other. And I think that is enormous.
There's a whole, for an alien, that whole raft of emotions that he could put into that was fantastic.
Yeah, no.
And particularly, I think, with David, who can play any emotion as well.
No, he's so great, isn't he?
There must have been a point where you were just sort of sitting there with David going, we're the best actors. And, more importantly, we got a whole load of awards to prove it. Because that's the great thing about the show when it came back, is suddenly there's award after award after award being given to it. Yeah. And I imagine your mantelpiece is full of all these glorious awards which you polish now and again. Tell the kids they can't play with.
I'm just telling the kids about Doctor Who. My son is 5 and he's just making the connection. He sees it on telly sometimes in passing. People at his school mention it now. And I gave him this book of me and Or it's about the monsters, and he sees me in the book fighting monsters, and he's very confused, and he gets a bit traumatized by it, actually. We persevere so that we're on like some level of understanding, and I feel so like, I don't know, excited that I can share that with him, and I know that he's going to love it because he's wired that way, you know. He's just wired that way. He's definitely got the Doctor Who vibe about him. Like, he's into the alternative. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't like toys. He doesn't like, you know, he's into something beyond
Basically,
just normal life.
You've bred a geek.
I know. I really feel we have. He's definitely a geek, thank God.
So, last year
Yeah.
was the 50th anniversary of this programme, which some people made a bit of a fuss about. You know, it was quite quiet back home, nobody really took a great deal of notice of it. So at some point, presumably, the phone rings and Stephen Moffat says, "Do you want to come back again?"
Yeah.
But I don't want you to play Rose exactly. How did that come about?
Well, everyone else seemed to be on board before me. And so there were lots of conversations of, oh, did you get the call? Did you get the call? And I was like, no, I didn't get the call. And I was like, this is so wrong. Like, I go back every time. Why would I not be invited back now? And then fortunately the call came, and we had one of those really like covert conversations, you know, like secret squirrel or whatever, just kind of talking in code. And I think David was, I want to get this right, this could be slander, but I think David was having a pedicure
Oh, that's on Twitter in the next 30 seconds.
I think David was having a pedicure when he and I were discussing the story